Good evening from the Players' Corridor at Hillsborough, the 94th Sheffield derby, just minutes away.
Come on, boys!
And if there is such a thing as a psychological advantage in a derby, United earned it last November.
Bryson can give United the lead. Saved by Woods, it's a follow-in for Whitehouse. Sheffield United take the lead. Here's a chance for Dane. Brian Dane, it's gone through.
And the two teams emerge side by side Wednesday in blue and white into a cauldron filled with 41,000 people. Every space taken for Hillsborough's first Division 1 derby in 2 decades. And don't forget, this isn't the only ground filled with expectation tonight. We'll be calling later at Loftus Road, where Leeds meet Queen's Park Rangers, and at Old Trafford for Manchester United's Rambelow semi-final against Middlesbrough. But now let's sit back and enjoy this derby occasion with Ian St John and John Help.
Thank you, Nick, and what a night for 20-year-old Graham Hyde, a native of Sheffield, and called in by Trevor Francis to play in his first derby match, and appropriately in this city to add steel to the midfield. Hyde plays in preference to 17-year-old Chris Bart-Williams, who wore the number 8 jersey against Coventry last Saturday. The only other change sees the return of club captain Nigel Pearson in the unusual number 11 shirt, vacated by Nigel Worthington, who has misplaced ribs. Don't be fooled by the number. Pearson will play at the back. In contrast to Hyde, Paul Rodgers plays his first derby at the age of 27. Indeed, this is only his second ever start in the First Division after leaving his job in the City in London and moving north from Sutton United. This is Dave Batts' selection, otherwise largely predictable, with Bobby Davision making his debut on loan from Leeds and partnering Brian Dane up front. There's another new face on the bench, that of the veteran Alan Cork, who was secured this week after a 15-year spell with Wimbledon. Well, Ian St John is alongside me. Ian, it's a very emotional night, and I believe your first Sheffield derby.
My first derby match here in Sheffield, and it really is a wonderful atmosphere, John. The United fans on the left-hand side here, the millions of balloons going up. It's great atmosphere.
They must have known something as well, because the balloons were all yellow. The shirts are yellow tonight. The referee is Robbie Hart from Darlington, and he's got a task on his hands as well. He has refereed a London derby this season, but he said he's been looking forward to this match for weeks. I think the other thing to say, Ian, is that it's going to be very greasy tonight. The rain has been pelting down for 2 hours at least.
Yes, but the pitch is absolutely perfect, John. It's a wonderful surface to play on, and the groundsman should be complimented on it.
As David Barber always does a terrific job here at Hillsborough, who are playing it from left to right in their customary blue and white stripes, as they have to do here at home. Their fans wouldn't forgive them if they didn't. There's Brian Gale, the record signing from Ipswich Town this season. £700,000 he cost. And he's very much an inspirational leader for the Blades. As we've heard, they won 2-0 in November in a very uncharacteristic Wednesday performance that day. They never really got their game off the ground, and Trevor Francis was extremely critical of them that day, saying they didn't know how to play in derby matches. Turned aside by Bradshaw. Here's a testing cross, first time up, and a very good catch indeed by Chris Woods. The danger is there for that ball to be a little bit greasy, but he held on to that beautifully.
Well, you know, people say that Woods is not too clever coming out for high balls at times, but he came for that, was very positive and held it well.
Rodgers got his first touch of the ball, and Phil King drives it forward, but derisory cheering as it goes straight into the crowd. Saw nothing wrong there, so despite the fact the United fans were claiming a free kick, one was given. Certainly interesting to look at the Wednesday formation tonight. He's basically, Trevor Francis opted for 3 centre-backs in Viv Anderson, Nigel Pearson and Peter Shirtliff. And he'll obviously have Roland Nielsen and Phil King pushing up the flanks. They've got Danny Wilson, Graham Hyde and Carlton Palmer strung across the middle, leaving David Hurst and Paul Williams up front. There was Wilson, interceptor. He's played in a few derby matches over the years with his various clubs. Sure, all the players are just glad to be out there now. The talk has been going on for weeks about this match, and it really just settles them down when they can finally come out of that tunnel and get onto the park. And the butterflies will have gone now, Saint.
Well, I'm sure it will be. It's always great to get out there and get started.
Here's Dane inside the Wednesday penalty area. He's cut the ball back, and Dane Whitehouse has scored for United. Whitehouse repeats his goal at Bramall Lane in November. What a start to the derby, and what a start for Sheffield United. The Wednesday defence caught at 6s and 7s. Dean cut it back, and Whitehouse merely had to roll it into the empty net.
Well, funnily enough, I was looking at the three centre backs of Sheffield Wednesday and wondering who was going to pick up who. And sometimes, you know, when that happens, they just get all at sea. And that was just a tap in there for Whitehouse. Bad marking by Sheffield Wednesday.
A goal inside 5 minutes, and Dane Whitehouse has got the Indian sign over Sheffield Wednesday. 2 derbies he's played in, 2 goals he's scored. Tracy's gained a bit more distance with this kick, and it landed on the head of Dean. And they're really messing about with it a bit back there, and Shirtley in the end gets a goal kick, but that wasn't confident defending either.
Well, the one thing about the United side, they close you down very quickly, and that was good closing down. Cut the goalkeeper off, number 10, Dean, and then the other player went for the ball, and that's good play.
As you can see, the hair already plastered down on the head of Chris Woods, which gives an indication of the strength of the rain here. Paul Williams tries to get in behind Beasley. Williams might still be here. Desperate clearance this time by Gale. Tracy had lost it in there, and this will add some urgency now for Wednesday as they come again with Wilson's ball in, angled across the area. Williams checks away, he's beaten away well. That was excellent work in defence by Kevin Gage. Oh, and here's a turn as well by Davision, who continues. The referee will blow this time, and I think he's right to do that. There has been no advantage gained by Davision.
Beautiful turn by Davidson, wasn't it? You know, Shirtcliffe had got tight on him, but a lovely little turn.
Bobby Davision, who was loaned out by Leeds earlier this season to Derby County and scored 9 goals with them in his 15-match spell. There's the route to goal, all right, and here are United looking for one. It's going to be Gannon's free kick. They're 4 men inside the penalty area. Wednesday naturally pull everybody back. Gale's at the back post, he got in there as well, and Rodgers was coming for it just as Woods collected.
What a super header that was by Gale. Got above Viv Anderson. Here we can see it again. Got above Big Viv. Looking to know that I actually thought probably backed away. But Tissy Woods took it well, rather.
Gale can certainly be a menace up there. There's Wilson controlling it with difficulty. Didn't quite match it, so Shirtcliffe able to play it aside. Now Anderson seeking that ball up the middle, which would bisect the United central defenders, but he didn't produce it, so they start again down the left with King. The ball then looks good. Hurst here, checked superbly well and wins the corner. Hurst took that one down beautifully in his stride.
Wonderful skill, brought it down and was looking for the first time shot and just got it blocked, but wonderful skill. There we go, there was a touch, looking for the shot, and Galen with a tackle.
It's been a good derby match so far. United a goal ahead, and Wednesday are looking for their equaliser now. From this corner kick, here's the flick on. It's useful. Hyde is in there. Here's the turn if Hurst can make it. It's on his wrong foot, really. And when he cut it back, Tracy was on the angle meeting it.
You get the feeling that corner kicks, free kicks, anything going in the box here, the Wednesday are a little bit unlucky so far. The ball not quite dropping for them. Hurst there, as you say, was on his, what you might call his bad foot. I think that's not bad if that's his bad foot. Didn't quite, you know, lift it over the goalkeeper.
Yeah, no, by no means is it his bad foot side. It's just that his left foot is so good. So much pride in this city with these two football clubs. It's not just about winning a football match tonight, it is about the pride, and Richie Barker, the assistant manager, epitomises the pride in Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh yeah, the lads who work for the club, the coaches, the backroom staff, they feel it every bit as much as any of the fans, and you know, everybody wants to win the derby match.
Gage being forced to turn round and play it back to Simon Tracy. He won't worry too much about that, Kevin Gage, former Aston Villa and Wimbledon man. That's good challenging to win the ball. And Wednesday just getting in first to each of those passes. And now we'll see what they can produce from this move. As Danny Wilson starts from very deep. Signals up there to Paul Williams that that's where he's going to knock it. There's all the time in the world for Gage to turn it back, and then for United to start themselves. Down the right, a canter for Bradshaw. Rodgers making progress. Davison calling for it in the middle. Davison's coming for it. Oh, he must score. Bobby Davison on his debut. 2-0 United, and a catastrophe for Chris Woods.
Well, that was an innocuous ball played in there. It was certainly, it looked from here, John, to be a goalkeeper's ball. And Chris Woods is very despondent there, because I think he knows he should really have come and got that one. There it's played in. Chrissy hesitates, starts for it, and really waited for it. And I can't believe why he hesitated.
Turns into a gift for Davison, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, so Bobby Davison, all credit to him. I mean, he followed up there, got the little, if you like, the rub of the green, got the bobble of the ball, and thank you very much.
My word, have Wednesday got something to do now. 2 down in 29 minutes. In a dream start for Bobby Davison to his Sheffield United career. Remember, he's on loan from Leeds United. It's rubbing salt into the wounds, really.
He's always been a goal scorer, hasn't he, Bob? He's always got his fair share of goals.
He's got 152 league goals in his career.
Well, that's good going.
So Malone Welch, he's bursting with pride about it at the moment, is the last of those. Scored a minute ago, and to give United a 2-0 lead. Well, if Wednesday are going to come back from this one, we're going to see a terrific game. They have a free kick. And as you would expect, everybody's in there for it, and Tracy holds on, and that will bring roars of acclaim from the United fans.
Well, that was good goalkeeping. He really was decisive, came for it, up he went, surrounded by bodies. Thank you.
Well, Simon Tracy looks like getting a call up from Big Jack Charlton for the next Republic of Ireland squad for their international against Switzerland.
Well, that's good for the boy, because the one thing about Jack's teams, you know, they're pretty successful, aren't they?
Well, they're very, very successful, and he's looking for somebody to eventually take over from Packy Bonner. Here is Dane now for Sheffield United, 2 goals up. Who would have predicted that scoreline? But they've got the ball into Rodgers inside the Wednesday penalty area. And a looping one now for Whitehouse to challenge with, and this time Woods is decisive. You've got to feel sorry for Chris Woods, really, because it was he was to blame, really, for the second goal in the first of the derby matches, when the shot from Brian Deane went through his legs. And now here again, I'm afraid you've got to say he's made a blunder. We hear that Trevor Francis has left his seat up top in the director's box for one down on the touchline alongside Richie Barker. Things are not going right for Messrs Francis and Barker at the moment. Palmer springing the step of Wednesday now as they surge forward. He's got Nielsen on his right, and he uses him. He's a bit short the ball though. Disappointing pass there.
Well, if I'd been Nielsen, I'd have been very disappointed, having ran the length of the field and not got a decent pass at the end of it.
Absolutely. I think Palmer got confused which way he was going to play the ball in the end. He's up there now, though, tussling and winning a corner kick as Gannon got the boot in. So Wednesday corner, they've had plenty of those, but they've not capitalised on any of them as yet. And Gale and his co-defenders will try and get to half-time, protecting this 2-goal advantage. Here is Wednesday's corner kick. Can they get it out? Wilson is on the edge of the area. The chance is here again for King to play it in. It's not bad, it's back post. The final header was disappointing, though, a cross goal. It's gone out for a third Wednesday corner. King has the chance again to float this one in, and Wednesday have thrown everybody up there. Only Nielsen is back. It's met by Rodgers, though. The first time ball in for Wilson, but the whistle has sounded, and referee Hart will take the name of Carl Bradshaw for that challenge. Carl Bradshaw's been in one or two spots of bother in recent weeks, and here he gets into trouble again.
I think the old elbow was up there, John.
And Wednesday will resume with a free kick here, but with very little time left in the first half. Remember, they're 2 down. Wilson over it. King floats it in. Here's a chance. Hurst was coming in on the back of it. And it's Bobby Davision who knocks it up in the air. Wednesday still looking. Beasley's header out. Palmer had stayed up there and tries to turn Bradshaw down the line, but has run the ball out. And Wednesday might welcome a breather and a chance to reorganise and rethink.
Well, I think it's vital for them to try and nick a goal, John, before half-time, because going in 2-0 down, you know, they'll be very despondent about that.
Yes, they will, and Dave Bassett's problem might be to keep his team's feet on the ground. They mustn't get too excited.
Oh yeah, I mean, they might think, a lot of them might think they've won it, but I'm sure once Harry gets them in there, he'll be saying, look, this game's not all over.
Wednesday still have a chance in this half because they're inside the United area. It's not a good ball, though, and Dean will go on a one-on-one chase with Pearson. And then he takes the return pass from Woods. Set Wednesday in motion again. Williams and Hurst both up the middle. Here is Hurst. Oh, he's got a lovely turn, and he's that was a good little attempted ball through for Hyde. Pearson once more. Patient builder. Wilson. And then Williams. Hyde, who has to control it first and will be confronted immediately by Whitehouse, but he's got it into the area. He did well there, and the back heel from Nielsen produces another corner kick off Beasley. Well, they've had so much pressure Wednesday, so many corners.
A lot of corners, John, but they've got to convert one of them. This could be the last chance before half-time.
There are 2 minutes of the first half left. Here is King's corner. Hurst missed it. It's still in there. Hooked over the top by Williams. First real, I won't say clear chance. He snatched at it a little bit. He was turning on it and probably didn't realise just what a big area he had to hit.
Well, there's so many bodies in there, John. I mean, as I said, every United player's back there. All the Wednesday players are in, and really, you know, it's very difficult to get any space at all. I think really Wednesday would be looking for a good clean header there. That's the only way they'll score.
Yes, they'll be looking to the likes of Viv Anderson and Peter Shirtliff perhaps to supplement David Hurst in there. Breaks for Bradshaw. Down the line, Dean, infield, and Whitehouse is calling for it. He's in some space as well if that ball had come across to him. And this will now be a booking for Sheffield Wednesday's Graham Hyde. It's the one Derby debutant on the other. It was on Rodgers.
I'm not too sure if that was a bookable offence. Again, the referee might be thinking, well, you know, he was racing through there. I'm not too sure on that. It seemed a rather harsh decision.
Very competitive lad, that's what his game is all about, Graham Hyde. So he and Carl Bradshaw booked in the first half. And Wednesday certainly now could ill afford to concede a third goal before half-time, and they have to face a United free kick. In a good position as well. Foreman inside the penalty area. They'll be looking at the back post for Brian Deane, who gets the header in. The turn is there. And Wednesday have to put the ball behind for a corner kick, and once more you have to say they were in disarray.
Well, I'm very impressed with Brian Deane. That was a lovely run he made. He came right across the ball, turned round at the back post, and there he was up again there, nodding the ball back. And Wednesday have been all over the place defensively, haven't they? Yeah. Thankful just to knock the ball there for a corner.
It was a good free kick, Saint, as well. They'd worked it well.
Yes, well worked.
They have a corner kick. Rogers tries to get his head in there. It comes down here for Dane Whitehouse, who tries to round his own personal half off with another shot, but this one is into the United fans gathered behind the net.
United haven't had that many attacks, John, but every time they've gone in the Wednesday box, you know, you feel a goal might happen. They've looked very dangerous.
That's absolutely right, and that's half-time here at Hillsborough. A very, very good first half for Sheffield United, who took that early lead through Dane Whitehouse and then built on it when a mistake by Chris Woods allowed Bobby Davision the chance to score on his debut. Half-time here then is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 2. The second half coming up after the break. Welcome back to Hillsborough, where we have a half-time score of Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 2. Goals from Dane Whitehouse and Bobby Davision as the teams come out onto the pitch for the second half. And also emerging from the Sheffield United dressing room is manager Dave Bassett. He's with Nick.
Dave, almost a perfect first half for you, wasn't it?
Well, we got an early goal, which obviously set us on their way, and we had to adapt to Wednesday's change in tactics, etc. We've kept our composure, and we've had to defend a few free kicks and corners which have been dangerous, and Bobby Davison's done very well to get the second goal for us. I was just about upset with Brian Deane didn't get the third one, but there we are. We mustn't be greedy at this stage.
And what have you said now? Don't be complacent.
Yes, certainly. I've said don't sit back and think because we're winning 2-0 that we can get away with it. We've got to work very, very hard for the next 45 minutes, and hopefully we can get a third goal which possibly could kill them off.
Thanks very much indeed. We're underway. John.
They'll think he's getting greedy now, wanting a third goal just before half-time. The second half just underway, as you see, and the first free kick of the half awarded to Sheffield Wednesday. Saint, what has Trevor Francis been saying to his team to turn things around?
Well, I would think he'd be giving them quite a telling off, actually, but I think he's really got to do more than that now. I think he's got to think about maybe bringing on his substitutes and changing the whole thing round, or indeed even changing the way they've been playing, John.
Yes, Wednesday have John Harkes, who generally has played up and down the flanks this season, and Nigel Jemson, the striker, on the bench. He's decided to leave things alone for the start of this second half, and here they are now. Hyde for Palmer. Bit of space and a lot of Wednesday men up in this attack, and it's coming in towards Williams. The header wide, it was not more than a couple of feet wide, but at least he'll be glad to have had an effort on goal.
Well, it was a cross from the right, although it wasn't a deep cross as it went from that position. I think maybe John Harkes will come on because they need a service into the front players. You were making that comment that Wednesday haven't really been giving the front boys a decent service, and I think John Harkes can do that on the right-hand side, John. Give him a bit of width.
There is the American John Harkes. Firm header away, and then Wilson nicks it with the outside of his boot to Roland Nielsen. He's made a good 30 yards progress already and loops the ball in. They've enough defenders back there, and Gage does the right thing by turning and simply booting the ball into the crowd. But it's good early pressure in this second half from Trevor Francis's team. It's another throw-in. Bradshaw's basically been employed back there almost as a second right back. But he's done his job. Wednesday really would come back into this if they got an early goal in this second half. Here's Carlton Palmer, just sort of stuck between the legs for him, and he's beaten away by Whitehouse, and a free kick has been given to Wednesday.
Well, the referee has given a free kick outside the box, John, and I think all the pushing was done inside, actually, when Carlton Palmer got in the box. I would say there, he picked it up there. Well, yes, I would say he was assaulted outside the box as well.
That just proves the referees are right. We're not always safe. It was right on the edge, and then it just seemed to continue into the box. Free kick for Wednesday. Well, they're still in the committee meeting at the moment. They need some tangible proof that they can get back into this match. From this free kick, it's going to be Phil King, and Phil King has scored! Well, Phil King has never scored a goal for Sheffield Wednesday. It's his first since one for Swindon Town against Plymouth Argyle back in September 1989. And before the match tonight, I said to him, "Are you going to get the goal?" He said, "If I do, I'll run the length of the field."
Well, he's still doing his lap of honour. I mean, it was a beautiful strike, got the deflection, John, the goalkeeper going the other way. But that really has been the first direct shot that Wednesday have had on target.
Absolutely right. I don't think he'll believe it, actually. He said he better not score because he thought he might get himself into trouble with his celebration. What a great time for him to get his first Wednesday goal, and Williams comes forward. And this time it is played safely back by Beasley. But he couldn't have timed it better for the club.
Wonderful start to the second half for the Owls, so it's all boiling up nicely now.
57 minutes played, it's Wednesday 1, United 2. Dane conceding the throw-in, taken already. Wilson on the ball. And the Wednesday compliments out there have proved Trevor Francis right. He stuck with them at half-time. It's not to say there won't be substitutions later, but they've fought their way back into the match without question. This is going to be a United throw-in. The other thing that really strikes me is what a sporting contest it's been. Although there have been 2 bookings, there's been nothing malicious in the match at all.
Nothing in the least. I mean, I have played in many derby matches where that's not been the case, John. And I've seen a lot of derby matches where also it's got a bit hectic, but this has been very sporting. Yeah, played in the right spirit.
And I think they do pride themselves in this city on that, and same with the supporters as well. There'll be plenty of banter at work tomorrow, whoever wins, no doubt. But it's good-natured. There's a good tussle going over there, and the referee's in quickly on this one. But again, you see, it was the sort of situation that could have been inflamed in some games, not in this one. And Shirtliff has played it on for Williams. He has to turn away from the danger men. And then it's long. No, Palmer's got long legs, but not long enough to get to that one. And he's just caught Brian Gale as he's gone down there. I don't think there was anything intentional on Palmer's behalf, certainly there. But Tracy takes the option of bowling the ball out of play so that Derek French can come on to give the treatment needed by Gale.
Purely accidental there, because Carlton had given the game up there, and all of a sudden they got their legs tangled up. Both of them were pulling up, and that was a pure accident.
And Gale's a tough customer. He'll continue. It might be painful for a moment or two. He'll attempt to run it off. Play will restart, and Sheffield Wednesday should give the ball back to United here. They should do. Oh. They haven't. It's in a bit of a tight situation for him to clear it.
I think he was wanting to give it to them, but wanted to do it, you know, the position where the Wednesday might get some advantage.
Dean can't quite get there. It's a clearance under pressure in the end from Pearson, who's twisted something as he's gone down, and he's hobbling away as well. Pearson hurt himself there as he landed awkwardly in clearing the ball, but I think he's okay. And that will be a United corner. And I think it's their first of this second half, and they're keen to get on with things now. 2-1 in the lead. And it's going to be Sheffield United making the first substitution of the game. Indeed, Glyn Hodges will come on, and he'll replace Dane Whitehouse, who hasn't figured much in the game since he scored crucially in the first 3 minutes. And this is Glyn Hodges. Interesting switch. There's United's corner, and there's the header hooked over the top by Beasley, and he wasn't more than a foot away from making it 3-1. And that's a rarity on this night. We've not seen this clear header before.
No, we haven't. It's all been just scratches, but that was a clean header. That's a very good header too, wasn't it?
He's strong here, is Paul Beasley, in those situations. Very strong. He's got a couple of goals this season. King hooking it down the line where it stays in play. United throw-in, which will be left to Bradshaw. They've left two men back to guard Paul Williams. They're still 2-1 in front. Bradshaw, yes, it's still in play, and now he's side down by Hyde, but ball had gone out, I think. He's given the free kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
To the amazement of everyone.
Certainly to me. That's up for Palmer. Gannon was behind him. Wilson brings Anderson into things. A loping run, he sets off. So can't really pierce the defence. Barnes is able to effect another clearance. First tackling well there for it, but Gale, who is strong, had gone forward and found Dean, and then Dean almost climbed over the top of his combatant. And I think that was just clumsy rather than anything from Anderson.
I think Big Palmer was just happened to be there and he couldn't get out of the way.
Free kick. And Hodges will make his first contribution to this game as the substitute by hitting this one in. Again, it wasn't an impressive clearance. United are here with Gage. Bradshaw. Trying to weave a way through there won't be easy. They're still there, and Davision can't quite pick up Gale's pass. Because of how Brian Gale loves to get forward, he deserts the defence at times to get up in support of the attack. There's Davison's header towards Dean. It was cleared by Pearson that time. And this is a better spell for United. They were a bit dodgy for the first 10 minutes of the second half. They seem to have got over that.
Well, just thinking that the Sheffield Wednesday have lost impetus slightly now, and United are coming more into it, John.
Which must be disconcerting again for Trevor Francis and Richie Barker, who've probably got to rethink down there. They still have their two substitutes up their sleeves. Gannon will float it in with the left foot. It's not a bad ball. It's 3-1. Bobby Davison has glanced a second for himself and a third for United. Great ball in from Gannon. Clinical finish by Davison.
Well, I've been very impressed with the quality of balls played into the box. But again, I think you have to look at the Wednesday defence here. And I mean, he got across the front, really, of Anderson there. And, you know, you just shouldn't allow that to happen.
Well, Bobby Davison, what a marvellous night for him. His first game on loan from Leeds United. And he scored 2 goals, which could be taking Sheffield United to a league double over the greatest enemy of all, Sheffield Wednesday.
And as the game progresses, you feel that Wednesday pushing forward, you know, they might get caught again.
Yes, they really took the game by the scruff of the neck with that early goal from Whitehouse. And the only bad time they've had was in the first few minutes of the second half. Even now things are coming off for them. That ball really wasn't intended to... It shouldn't have got to Dean, it did. Chris Woods has allowed it to run through his legs. Oh, dearie me, in front of the cop. And Chris Woods, again, is not having a happy night.
Well, it's nightmare time for Chrissy Woods here. Again, Dean did ever so well fighting for the ball, but when it was whipped in, it was a goalkeeper's ball. He came out, let it go through his legs, as you say, and actually caught United players out.
The only thing that could have been worse for him would have been if it had gone in the net. Hodges. Cleverly run over by Jemson, but Nielsen is the only Sheffield Wednesday player in the United half. And then when he plays it across, Palmer surrounded by yellow shirts again. And United's fans are enjoying themselves now.
And so they should be.
Well, I thought John Harkes was coming on a few moments ago. It looks as though he is now. Trevor Francis opted for Nigel Jemson in the end as his first substitute, but Harkes will not be much longer delayed from the action. Wednesday are really looking for miracles with 19 minutes to go and 3-1 down. Offside against Davision this time. And Sheffield United's fans are flying the flag, and who could deny them? A memorable night it's turning out to be for Dave Bassett's boys. There's an almost continental atmosphere seeing a flag like that, or a South American one. And Sheffield United are going to bring on Alan Cork for his debut, and he'll have 11 minutes in which to impress. Here he is. A phenomenal record for Wimbledon, 15 years at Plough Lane, and this season, of course, at Selhurst Park, and he's scored 166 goals for them. And now he's a Sheffield United player. What a nice time to come on.
I'll tell you what, he must be, you know, amazed that his career has gone this way, isn't it? You know, all those years at Wimbledon, one club man, then he finds himself up here in Sheffield.
In a derby match, and he's replacing a 2-goal hero, Bobby Davision.
I mean, when he play at Wimbledon, you don't play in front of a crowd this size unless you put the cumulative games for the season.
15 seasons. That's a nice little knock inside. And again, it's United who emerge. It was Cork, and it's spun away for Dane. He could round it off here. Great stop by Woods, but in fact there was an offside flag anyway, so it was all to no avail for Brian Dane. Chris Woods will feel a bit crestfallen. It's probably the best save he's made all night.
Well, yes, he did. I mean, I like this big fella, you know. He's a good player. And Chris Woods, as you say, at least he got his hands to that one.
Jemson turning, and Rogers got a foot in. So King loops it up, and this time Hurst is onside and gets a telling. Well, it's Hurst, in fact, in the penalty area. He was knocked over. The header in was from Harkes. And Rogers has proved himself a battler tonight, in only his second game. King's ball. That's a better cross. Here's Hurst! Oh, he just couldn't angle the header goalwards. And Tracy has dived gratefully on the ball. That's the best chance David Hurst has had tonight. And I wonder if, in a way, why didn't go for goal?
Well, that's right, but I thought there might have just been a little push coming up here, as you see Williams was coming in. But then again, he made just a slip. Gill was with him.
King, one last hopeful ball forward for Hurst, who's taken it down on the chest well. Sets off on the gallop. The ball inside is cleared as Harkes was coming onto it. It's nudged back again for Hurst. They look tired now, a lot of those Wednesday players. They've just got to summon one last effort. But to score 2 goals is asking too much, I'm sure. And Gannon, boots it straight against an opposition man, and it's going to be... No, it's saved. Twice. Jemson got the shot in. Tracy was equal to it, and then managed to scramble it behind. And that would certainly have been an unfortunate goal for United.
Not even a consolation for the Wednesday there. That was a chance for Jemson, of course, but a great save by Simon Tracy.
Certainly was, and he even managed to smother the follow-up as well. Still a Wednesday corner. The last minute here, and Tracy has his hands on the ball. And Sheffield United are more than hanging on.
This is Jemson here with a chance. The ball sat up there, but I mean, he really caught hold of it. Goalkeeper made the save and then managed to get the hand to flick it away. This young man will certainly, I think, make it into Jack Charlton's international team, I'm sure.
Yeah, he also symbolises the spirit in this United side. Still Wednesday coming, looking. Palmer, to their credit, they've not stopped. But they've been second best on the night. And we've in fact played 91 minutes, according to the electronic scoreboard. The derby has been won by Sheffield United, and it's a famous double over Wednesday, whose players can't get off quickly enough. Bobby Davision emerges as the 2-goal hero for Sheffield United, a goal in each half from him, with one coming from Dane Whitehouse as well, and he's scored in both derby matches this season. The United fans quite delirious about this success against the old enemy at Hillsborough. Wednesday's only success coming from a Phil King goal 3 minutes into the second half. Wednesday looked as though they might make a fight of it then, but it's Sheffield United who go away joyous to talk about their triumph for a long time to come, I'm sure. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sheffield United 3, and I'm sure there are going to be some joyous scenes in the Sheffield United dressing room. Dave, there are very sweet victories in football, but derby ones tend to be the sweetest of all.
Yeah, obviously when you start the season off, you look at your programme, and if somebody said you're going to win a certain amount of games, obviously there's some teams you want to beat more than others, and obviously in a passionate involvement in a city where there's derbies, obviously you try and pick to win those games.
What's been the secret of the double this year then?
Well, I think we played well on both days, and today we've done well, and I'm delighted with the boys. Our performance in both games have been very good. As you can see, I'm well popular.
Yeah, covered in glory and other things
right.
as well.
And on the 2 days, we've deserved to win both games.
Dane, what is it about Sheffield Wednesday that seems to produce the goals in you?
I don't know, I just seem to be there at the last minute and I've just put them in, really.
What's the feeling like scoring a derby goal against the rivals like that?
It's a good feeling, you know. I'm like from Sheffield and it's really important to me, and to get a goal is a bonus, really.
OK, it came very early. I think we can have a look at it, Dane. No more than 3 minutes.
No, it was a good touch by Bob there, and Paul Rogers played it down the line. I've seen Deansy going in, I've tried getting in front of a defender. As it's come across, I've put it in with my right foot.
Rather nice feeling then.
Yeah, great, especially in front of blades. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Bobby, you could hardly have imagined a few weeks ago that you'd be playing in a Sheffield derby match.
No, not really, no. Yeah, it was quite enjoyed it, good night.
Did you expect it to turn out like that? And 2 goals as well.
I think it's just nice to start a game. You know, if you score, it's a bonus.
But it can be difficult settling into a new team. So how difficult was it coming into this one in such a big game?
That was easy. It was a good night for strikers, wasn't it? Just get the ball in the box and get on the end of things.
Trevor, you were very critical of your side after the Derby Day defeat at Bramwell Lane. Have you been critical tonight as well?
No, we've got a discussion in there, and you know, we're very, very disappointed by the errors that we made in defence. The first 2 goals weren't particularly created by Sheffield United. They were given away by ourselves, and if you go 2-0 down against any team, it's always going to be an uphill struggle. We managed to get ourselves back into it at the start of the second half, but then when they scored the third, that really killed us.